guys, let's talk about Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. So I finished this book the other day and I gave this one 4 stars. I don't think that this is normally my speed. Honestly, I would categorize this as like a suspense thriller, kind of. It's a little different than that, but just like a brief plot summary for you. Our main character, Grace, has a special needs sister named Millie who has Down syndrome. Millie was born to her parents when her parents were in their 40s. They didn't really want another child, so Grace has been her primary caregiver like her entire life, essentially. Millie and Grace's parents moved to New Zealand. They really aren't around very frequently, and so Grace is really just the parental figure, the guardian figure in Millie's life, and has been since she was born. Currently, Millie is attending a boarding school because that is the only place that she can get like a sufficient education as a special needs person in the UK, without being put into like a group home or asylum, according to this book. So Grace pays for her education out of pocket. Grace has a really wonderful job. And one day while Millie and Grace are in the park, Millie starts dancing and a man comes up and starts dancing with Millie. And that is how Grace meets her future husband, Jack. Jack and Grace hit it off really quick because he's so kind to Millie. They, they start dating, and within like 3 months they get engaged and they get married. And as soon as they get married, Jack becomes a different person. Jack is a psychopath, quite frankly. Jack starts to hold Grace hostage in hopes of having Millie move in with them so that he can torture Millie, because that is something that brings him pleasure. And so this entire book is about Grace fighting back and trying to figure a way out of Jack's hold before Millie can move in with them. And she is really, obviously abusive relationships are very limiting, and you end up not really getting to speak to people. That's very isolating, and that is what Jack does here. And he also is successful in like stripping away her phone and like basically anything that she could have to try to contact someone. And so this book is Grace's story, trying to not only save herself but also save her sister from this fate. And while I don't think that this is something that I would have picked up just kind of on my own, I was super intrigued by it because I am someone who has special needs siblings, and I really don't see a lot of books that ever revolve around that. And so I was super intrigued to see kind of like how B.A. Paris was going to write Grace and Millie's relationship, and quite frankly I was not disappointed. Obviously, like, this is about abuse. It's very difficult to read sometimes. But what I really loved about it was like seeing Grace and Millie's relationship. B.A. Paris never writes Millie down. Like, she's a very smart person. Millie knows exactly what's going on. She's trying to help her sister. She knows when to stay silent so that like her sister doesn't get hurt. And one thing that I find super frustrating a lot of times, not just in like books but in real life, is a lot of people are very like underestimating of special needs people. My sister is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. She is very perceptive. She knows how to, like, this is not a negative thing, I'm just like trying to demonstrate how smart she is. She is very capable of like manipulating people into getting what she wants. She's just a very smart person, and people often will ignore that because she doesn't operate beyond like a 5th grade level, but she is still very smart. And so I really enjoyed that aspect of this book, that like this author really never wrote Millie in a way that felt negative or downgrading or anything like that. Millie is a human in her own right, and she is very capable, and she is the main reason that Grace is successful in trying to get out of this abusive relationship. And so I personally just really enjoyed this one. I don't know if it's for everyone. Like I said, I don't even know if I normally would have picked it up, but because I did, I'm glad I did, just because I really liked the relationship between Millie and Grace. There are parts of this book that are hard because, like I said, it is about abuse. But I liked the ending a lot. I really, really enjoyed the ending. I think it was one of the better endings I've read in recent months when it comes to books. It was just a really good conclusion. And so if you're looking for something that's like a really fast read and suspenseful and you want to know what's going to happen, highly suggest this one. Thanks.